Hello, welcome to Higher Ground Gaming. This is Eric. Today we're going to play another game from our 1975 Digital Diamond Baseball replay. Another game from April 15th, as we just did the Nolan Ryan versus Dave Goltz game for our Red Sox fan. Unfortunately, Nolan Ryan did not have a good day, but check that out if you'd like to. Dave Goltz, on the other hand, had a stellar game, as you can see. He pitched a complete game 2 hitter, allowing 2 runs. So, another game we looked at in the schedule, and we had to play, being a Braves fan and also being a J.R. Richard fan, was Houston at Atlanta, which we're going to play now. Both starters are 0-1, so each starter going for their first win of the season. So let's see what we can have here. So the Astros have started off 4-2. The Braves only 2-5. And those are your starting lineups for both teams. And we'll play as the Atlanta this time, since we are a Braves fan. And usually we play the home team anyway, so we will play that. So, yep. So we will play the home team. We'll see how well J.R. Richard does today. I'm not sure how well he did on the actual season, but we'll check that out in a minute. And he was 12-10 with a 4.39 earned run average. Phil Niekro was 15-15 with a 3.20 earned run average. So Niekro, not much run support. He had a lot of these seasons where he was like 15-15, 20-20. 18-16, 16-18, stuff like that. He had a lot of those seasons. So he did pitch and have decisions in a lot of games, but did not get a lot of run support, as the Braves were not the best hitting team on the planet by far. Some seasons worse than others. 78 being one of the probably the worst hitting teams. Yeah. Anyway, so let's play some ball here to get the game underway. Sorry about that. Alrighty. Sorry for the cracker sound there. Alrighty, so they Phil Niekro on the hill. He was 15-15 on the season, as we said, with 275 innings pitched. So he was definitely a workhorse. Only 144 strikeouts, but 72 walks. Only 72. So far on the season, he's not fared well. He's 0-1, pitching 6 2/3 innings in 2 games. So he's had a couple of early departures with a 9.45 earned run average, 180 whip, a base percentage of 375 against them, with a 1.5 whip. I'm sorry. Usually I look for that as being the whip, but that is actually the whips over there. So that is strikeouts per walk. So very good on the actual season and pretty good to start off. So let's see if he can get back on track here today. So the lineup for the visiting Astros is going to be Rob Andrews, the second baseman, will lead it off, followed by Jose Cruz in right. Cesar Cedeno, the center fielder, will hit third. Milt May behind the plate will bat cleanup. Bob Watson will hit fifth and play left. So Bob Watson, used to seeing the way to shift to first base, did play some outfield. Cliff Johnson, the first baseman, hit sixth, followed by Doug Rader at third, batting seventh. Roger Metzger is the shortstop, hitting eighth, and J.R. Richard on the hill bats ninth, as we are in the National League. Behind Niekro in the defense, left to right in the outfield, is going to be Ralph Garr in left. Roland Office in center, and Dusty Baker in right. Yes, Dusty Baker is on the Braves. before he switched to the Dodgers. The infield is going to be Darrell Evans at third. Yeah, also on the Braves. Later go to the Giants. Darrell Blanks, who would later end up on the Cleveland Indians, was a pretty poor defensive shortstop. Very error prone with a poor range. Yeah, so that means the range, the lower number, I mean the higher number here, the 5, is the lower the range. So Blanks with not much range, as does Evans have not much range. So very poor range overall for the Braves infield and outfield for that matter. So I think it's Marty Perez, yeah, at second, and followed by Mike Lum, who you probably remember as a pinch hitter for the Cincinnati Reds, at first. So Vic Corral is behind the plate, and Nolan Ryan on the hill. So Rob Andrews, hitting .250 on the young season with an RBI, steps into the box. Niekro looks in for the sign from Corral. He has a windup and the pitch. And shallow center field, playable for office, and he'll make the catch for out number 1. That'll bring up Jose Cruz next. Cruz off to a good start, hitting .333 with a homer and an RBI so far. 21 at bats. And it's going to be a swing and a miss on the curveball. So 2 up and 2 down for the Astros. That'll bring up Cesar Cedeno, hitting .318 on the young season with a homer and 6 runs batted in. Niekro looks in for the sign. Here's the delivery. And that's going to be a walk. So a 2-out base runner for the Astros. I'm going to bring up Milt May. May hitting .227 with 3 runs batted in. Cedeno being held on by Lum. Niekro looks in for the sign, looks at the runner. Here's the delivery. See if he gets the lead. And throw to first. Got there just in time. They're going on the hit and run now. Niekro delivers. There goes the runner. Shot to Blanks at short. Takes on the bounce. And with the runner off, he has no play at second. But he doesn't need to, as he'll go to first for out number 3. So, nothing doing for the Astros in the first. J.R. Richard on the hill. Richard has struggled even more than Niekro has so far. Richard has lasted just 2 innings in 2 games. So Niekro has struggled horribly so far. Wow, that's as bad as it gets. So 2 games, 2 innings, 0-1 record, 31.50 ERA, whip of 6, on base percentage 667. So 2 out of every 3 batters have gotten on base against him in just a short sample size, with a strikeout per walk ratio of just 0.40. So it's been pretty wild so far and very ineffective. So let's see if how he does here against the Braves. The Braves are hoping that he continues to struggle. So it'll be Ralph Garr to lead it off in left, followed by Marty Perez at second. Darrell Evans is your third baseman batting third. So Mike Lum will hit cleanup. So Mike Lum, an interesting choice for a cleanup hitter. I think that Evans might be the cleanup hitter, or Baker. But Mike Lum sandwiched in there. Dusty Baker is your right fielder batting fifth, followed by Roland Office in sixth. Vic Corral behind the plate hits seventh. Darrell Blanks, the shortstop, hits eighth. And Phil Niekro, not a bad hitting pitcher, will hit ninth. Did have 10 RBIs and hit 172. So Guard steps into the box. He'll lead it off. So the defense behind Richard, left to right in the outfield, is going to be Bob Watson, Cesar Cedeno, and Leo Cruz. Definitely a much better defensive outfielder than the outfield range and arm-wise than the Braves are. The infield, left to right, is going to be Doug Radar at third, Metzger at short, Andrews at second, and Johnson at first. So not much range there except for Metzger at short. So not a very good defense for in the infield for either team. Milt May behind the plate has good range, and J.R. Richard on the hill to round out the defense for the Astros. So Ralph Garr hitting .310 on the season with with a homer and 4 runs batted in. 6 homers on the actual season. So Garr steps in the box. Richard looks in for the sign from May. Here's a windup and the pitch. And that's going to be a base hit, so a good start for the Braves as the leadoff runner is on to start the game. Garr is a threat to steal. But so to bring up Perez. Perez hitting .286 with a homer and 2 runs batted. Garr being held up by Johnson. Garr's not going anywhere. And that's going to be a hit to first. Smothered by Johnson. No, it gets under his glove. So that's one of those plays where it should have been an out. But they're going to call it an error on Johnson, which will allow Perez to reach, and Garr move to second. So first 2 runners on for the Braves. It brings up Darrell Evans. Evans off to a fast start, hitting .391 with already 2 home runs and 3 runs batted in. Chance for another RBI here as the runners get their leads. Richard looks in for the sign. Here's the delivery. And that's going to be a walk, and that will load the bases. So Richard continues to struggle here in his 3rd game of the season. So to bring up Mike Lum, hitting .296 with a homer and 5 runs batted in. Runners get their leads. Lum ready to grip and rip. And that's going to be hit sharply to third. Radar takes it and makes the catch for the out. Runners will hold. So Dusty Baker up there now. Dusty Baker hitting .222 with 2 runs batted in. Had 19 home runs on the season. So runners get their leads. Pitch to Baker. Trying to put the Braves on the board. And it's going to be swung on and looped to shallow right. Andrews going out. Cruz coming in. Cruz signals and makes the catch. As Garr will hold at third as that was hit too shallow. So Richard 1 out away from getting out of the jam here without any damage. Roland Office up to the plate now, hitting .250 with a homer and 3 runs batted in. Oh, I thought that might have been a triple there, but instead it's going to be hit to right. And Cruz closes easily and makes the catch. So the Braves load the bases with nobody out, and Richard gets out of the jam with no damage. So after 1 full, no score. So it'll be Watson, Johnson, and Radar against Phil Niekro. Watson 3 for 6 on the young season. So here's the pitch by Phil. And swung and popped up right behind the plate. Corral is there in foul territory to make the catch for out number 1. Pip Johnson up there now. Johnson hitting .333 with 2 homers, 7 runs batted in. Here's the pitch to the first baseman. And Niekro deals. It's taken for strike 3. So Niekro with his 2nd K of the day is out number 2 for the Astros in the 2nd. So Radar up there now. Radar hitting .294 with an RBI and 17 at-bats. And swung on and missed for strike 3, so Niekro after a much better start as he sets down the Astros in order in the second. So after 1.5, no score. So Vic Correll to lead it off, hitting just 130 and with a homer and 2 runs batted, 23 at-bats. Trying to get off the Schneid here. And he will. It'll be a little dunker to left field. Falls in for it. And the Braves have their leadoff runner on again. So Correll not a threat to steal. Being held on anyway by Johnson. That'll bring up Darrell Banks, the future Indian. Hitting 273 with 4 runs batted in. And that's going to be hit it hard on the ground to short. Over to first, second for 1, back to first, and 6-4-3 double play. So that will do it for the... Oh, that'll be 2 down now, sorry. So the base is empty for Phil Niekro. As we said, Niekro with a 172 average, 176 on base percentage, so did not walk much, but good average for a pitcher. Did knock in 10 runs. Here's the pitch to Niekro. And hit the shallow right. Cruz starts back, comes in, makes the catch. And that'll do it for the Braves in the second. So after 2 full, no score. So Metzger up to the plate now. Metzger, a 364 hitter on the young season with homer and 6 runs batted in. Pitch to the shortstop. And that's going to be a bouncing ball to Perez. Stabs it and throws to Lum for out number 1. That'll be up Richard. Richard, an excellent hitting pitcher, 203. With a homer and 13 runs batted in on the actual season. And a swing and a miss. And Niekro will get his 4th strikeout of the day. So top of the order, Andrews. 0 for 1 on the day. And that's going to be the first hit off Niekro. So 1-out base run, a 2-out base runner for Andrews. Well, for the Astros and Andrews. Michael Lum will hold him on. Jose Cruz up there now. Not Julio Cruz, Jose Cruz. As we said earlier, Julio, I think. So Jose, 0 for 1 on the day. Here's the pitch. And Niekro's got the fastball dealing, and he gets his 5th strikeout of the day. And that'll end the inning for the Houston in the top of the 3rd. So after 2.5, remains 0-0. So pitcher's duel as we hoped it would be, even though Richard did get out of the bases loaded jam with nobody out in the first. But good pitches would generally find their way out of jams like that, and both pitchers living up to their expectations despite having a rough start to the 75 season. So, top of the order, Gar. Gar singled his first time up. And first strikeout there for Richard on the screwball for out number 1. So Marty Perez up there now. Marty Perez also is 0 for 1 in the day. And make that 1 for 2 as he gets a solid single to right. Cruz gets it back in quickly, holding Perez to a single. So 1-out base runner. Perez not a threat to steal. Darrell Evans up there now, and I don't think we're going to go with a hit and run here because Evans does strike out, I think, quite a bit. Let's see if we can check him out. Yeah, 106 strikeouts, which isn't horrible. It's not great, but it's not horrible for a power hitter. But we will not go with the hit and run, because if he misses it, then Perez has to try to steal, and we don't want to have that happening. So Perez gets his small lead. Richard looks in for the sign, looks at the runner. He has to pitch to Evans, who walked his first time up. And that's going to be a base hit to left. Perez rounds second, and he will hold there. So 2 on with 1 down for the Braves as they're threatening again. Well, I'm 0 for 1. Here's the pitch. And swing on strike 3. So 2 down now, so it's up to Baker if the Indians to continue. 0 for 1 on the day. And that's going to be a base hit. Let's see if they're going to send Perez home. He was off on the pitch. Gets the green light. And not in time as it's up the line. As the runners move up on the throw home. It's 1-0 Atlanta. So Off is up there now, looking to extend the Braves' lead. 0 for 1 on the day. It's pitched by Richard. Hard ground to short. Fielded by Metzger. And easily throws out Office at first to end the inning. But the Braves get on the board. It's 1-0 after 3. So Niekro with a 1-0 lead now, as he'll face Cedeno, Milt May, and Bob Watson. Cedeno walked his first time up, and this time he'll strike out. So Niekro with already his 6th strikeout in 3 1/3 innings. So Niekro looking strong today. 1 run may be enough. So May up there now. May 0 for 1 on the day. And that's going to be hit on the air to the left. Gar makes the catch for out number 2. So Niekro looking for another 1-2-3 inning. Watson up to the plate now. Watson 0 for 1 on the day. Make that 0 for 2 as he'll hit one to the left, and Gar will make another catch in the inning. So 1-0 as we head to the bottom of the 4th. Corral will lead it off. He singled his first time up. Braves with 5 hits, Houston with 1. And that's going to be a walk. So 2nd walk of the day given up by Richard. Let's see, do we want to bunt here? I think blanks is a good. Let's see if they show the sacrifice hits. We didn't have that many. So, and struck out quite a bit. And we'll try a hit and run. Actually, no, we won't, because Corral's not a good base runner there, so we'll just hit away. So 1 on, nobody out, and Blanks is going to strike out on the call, 3rd strike. For out number 1, so to bring up Niekro. I think we might want to have Niekro bunt. Even though he is a good hitter, we're going to have a bunt. So Niekro will be asked to sacrifice here. And a good one down there. That'll get the job done. So runner in scoring position now. Braves looking to add to their 1-0 lead. Gar 1 for 2 on the day. Here's the pitch. Hot smash to first. Johnson smothers it and steps up and steps on the bag for the out number 3. So after 4 full, it's Atlanta 1, Houston 0. Johnson to lead it off. Johnson 0 for 1 on the day. Niekro's been in full command, striking out 6 through 4. And that's hit on the air to left. Gar goes back and makes the catch for out number 1. So Radar, 0 for 1 in the day. Niekro only let up 1 hit in the day so far for the Astros. And that's hit to center. Office is under it, makes the catch. 2 up and 2 down for the Astros in the 5th. So Niekro continues to cruise along. Metzger 0 for 1. Swung on, line to short. But Blanks is there to make the catch. And the Astros go in order in the 5th. So 1-0 Atlanta, holding up so far. Perez to lead it off. He's 1 for 2. Scored the only run of the game so far. And slow grounder to short. Metzger up with it over to first for out number 1. So Darrell Evans. Evans average up to 417 now with the hit. His first time up. He's also walked once. I don't know if that, I think he got a hit his last time up. So 1 for 1 with a walk. This is being his 3rd at bat. Pitch to Evans. And that's going to be another walk. So Evans walks for the 2nd time today, and Evans is a threat to steal. So Johnson will hold him on. I think we're going to try to attempt to steal here. Average arm he has, so yeah, try steal, why not? And you cannot get the lead. Evans get back safely. So Evans will not attempt to steal. Lum up to the plate now, 0 for 2 on the day. Oh, I almost thought that was a home run there. And hit on the ground to first, fielded by Johnson. Throws a Metzger for the force. Back to first for the double play. So they have an interesting way of doing the double play there. It's kind of just the phrasing of it. Doesn't sound like it's going to be a double play, but it is. So that will do it for the Braves in the 5th. It remains 1-0 as we head to the 6th. So good pitchers duel we have going here. 1-0 Braves. Niekro back out on the hill. Richard to lead it off. 0 for 1 on the day. And he'll get a... Oh, no. I thought he was going to get a hold of one there. And fly ball to center. Richard is retired by Office for out number 1. So Andrews up there now. Andrews got the only Astro hit so far. 1 for 2. And hit hard in the ground to the left. Knocked down by Evans at 3rd. Recovers and fires to Lum. He gets Andrews by a step. So 2 down now. Niekro looking for another 1-2-3 inning. Cruz 0 for 2 on the day. Oh, but Cruz gets a hold of one here, and that one is a no-doubter there. And that will tie the game at 1. Niekro cruising along until he faces Cruz there, who got all of that one. And Cruz now will extend his hitting streak to 7 games, as well as tie the game at 1. So Cedeno up there now. Cedeno 0 for 1 with a walk. Cruz gets himself composed, looks in for the sign. And comes back strong with a swing and a miss. Cedeno looking to go back-to-back there, but strikes out to end the inning. But damage is done as Cruz gets a solo homer to tie the game at 1. So after 5.5, it's 1-1. Baker to lead it off. He's 1 for 2 with an RBI. And trying to do it, but strikes out for out number 1. So Richard with new life now, as it's now a tie game. Office up there now, 0 for 2. And that'll be a base hit down the first base line. Headed for the corner, Cruz cuts it off. Office takes a wide turn, but holds with a single. So we're going to see if Office can get a good lead here. 113 or less. Oh, just not. Barely cannot get the jump. So he'll have to stay put. So Curl up there now. He's singled and walked. Hit sharply to third. Line right to third. Radar makes the catch as Office dives back to the bag for out number 2. So it's up to blanks if the inning is to continue. 0 for 2 on the day is blanks. And that's going to be a base hit to center, so that will extend the inning. Office around second, and no, less than 50%. We will hold in a 1-1 game. So first, blanks will continue the inning. Now, first and second with 2 down for Niekro. So Niekro looking to help his own cause here. 0 for 1 in the day. And Niekro will strike out. Take the call, third strike. Niekro not happy with that, but so he'll leave a runner in scoring position and remains 1-1 as we head to the top of the 7th. So the heart of the order, May, Watson, and Johnson up for the Astros. So May hitless on the day, 0 for 2. And a good start for the Astros, a base hit to center. So the go-ahead run on now for the Astros. Yeah, he doesn't strike out a heck of a lot, so I think we are going to go with the hit. Say they went with the hit. Well, actually, we can't go with the hit run because we're not playing. I'm used to playing inside pitch where you play both teams, but we're playing this does have an AI, so we'll see what the offense does, see if they go with the hit and run here. So Watson up there now, 0 for 2 on the day. See if he can get the lead, May. I don't think he's going anywhere, though. Nope, go right for the swing. So we'll see if this is a hit and run here. Hit to left. Gar steps back, camps under it, and puts it away for out number 1. So no hit and run there with the slow runner, May at first. So Cliff Johnson up there now, 0 for 2 on the day. Braves playing double play depth. Oh, and Johnson's going to get a hold of this one, and that one, another no-doubter there. And actually, the wind died down, cut that one down a bit, but it does sneak itself over the fence. And that will be a 2-run homer for Cliff Johnson. And all of a sudden now, the Astros are in control with a 3-1 lead. So, Niekro is cruising along after 5. And lets up a solo homer to Cruz. And now a 2-run bomb to Johnson, and it's now all of a sudden a 3-1 Houston lead. So Raider up there now 0 for 2 on the day. And fly ball to left, line right to guard, makes the catch for out number 2. Metzger up there now 0 for 2 on the day. And that's going to be a base hit. So a 2-out base hit for Metzger. He's got his first hit today. That'll bring up Richard. Richard 0 for 2 on the day. Metzger stretches his lead. Here's the pitch. Oh, and Richard's going to get himself a hit, helping his own cause here. As Metzger rounds second. And stops at second. So Richard continues the inning for Andrews, 1 for 3 on the day. Niekro looking to keep this a 2-run game. Here's the pitch to Andrews. And that's hit deep to right field. Baker goes back and makes the catch. So 7th inning stretch time, and it's now a 3-1 Houston lead as Cliff Johnson breaks the 1-1 tie with a 2-run homer. So the Braves down by 2 now. Richard with a 2-run lead. Gar 1 for 3 up to the plate now. And it's a lazy fly ball to right. Cruz drifts over and makes the catch for out number 1. So that'll bring up Marty Perez. Perez 1 for 3 with a run scored. And a little flare to left. Watson comes in and makes the catch. Out number 2. So 2 up and 2 down for the Braves in the 7th. Then bring up Darrell Evans. He's 1 for 1 with a pair of walks. And that's a swing and a miss on the slow curve. So Richard now in full control after struggling early on. Gets out of a couple of jams and allows just the 1 Atlanta run. And that will do it for the Braves in the 7th. So after 7 full, it's 3-1 Houston. So Niekro back out on the hill. Cruz homered against Niekro his last time up to put the Astros on the board and tie the game at 1. See what he can do here. And routine ground ball to second. Perez up with it over to Lum for out number 1. So Cedeno up there now. Cedeno 0 for 2 with a walk. Niekro facing his 30th batter here, likely to be his last inning of work. And lines it to blanks for out number 2. So to bring up Milt May, 1 for 3 of the runs scored. He scored on the 2-run homer by Cliff Johnson in the 7th. This time he strikes out on the fastball for Niekro's 8th strikeout. But down by 2 are the Braves as they head to the bottom of the 8th. So it'll be Lum, Baker, and Office when he gets on Corral. Lum hitless on the day, 0 for 3. Richard looks in for the sign. Here's the delivery. And that's going to be hit to the right. That's going to go into the corner, off the wall. And Mike Lum with a good start to the Braves' 8th with a leadoff double. So Baker could tie the game with 1 swing of the bat. So Richard looks in for the sign, looks at the runner. Here's the pitch to Baker. And that's hit sharply to first. Line drive snared by Johnson as Olam gets back to second. So 1 down now for Office. Office 1 for 3 on the day. And that's going to be a base hit to left. As Watson had a long way to go. Oh boy, 78.8%. Not probably. We're down by 2, so we're going to hold up there. So that'll put runners at the corners with 1 down. Houston hoping to get out of this one with a double play. We'll play back. So that'll be at Vic Corral. Corral did have 11 homers on the season. Already has 1 so far. He's 1 for 2 today with a walk. Oh, he tried to do it. Swing and a miss. Nothing but air on that one. 2 down now, so it's up to blanks. If the innings can continue, 1 for 3 on the day. Braves down by 2. And that one's hit to right, but Cruz is right there to make the catch. And the Braves threaten but do not score, so it remains a 2-run deficit for the Braves as we head to the 9th. We'll let Niekro continue to stay in there. So Watson 0 for 3 on the day. Oh, big mistake there. So Watson gets a hold of that one, and that one is gone. So that's going to be it for Niekro. As it's now a 4-run, a 4-1 game. So Niekro will depart. Down 4-1. As he lasts 8+ innings. And let's see here. So who do we have coming up here? Righty, so Cliff Johnson. So we'll go with boy. Braves do not have much for righty relievers. Boy, I think these guys can be relievers too, though. Yeah. Boy. I guess we'll go with this guy, Harrison Rorick. Oh, it's not letting me put him in. Oh, it bats 9th. That's right, we're in the National League. So he has to bat 9th. Or doesn't have to be, but is batting 9th. Alright, so that's going to be it for Niekro as Rorick Harrison comes in. He did start 2 games, so oh well. Didn't know that. Alrighty, so let's check and see what he's done so far. Alright, so he's got an ERA of 2.25, whip of 1.50. No decisions so far. He's pitched 4 innings, so I'm guessing. Oh, that's just 2 games. He hasn't started a game. That's 0 when the game started. Okay, so that's good. So he's been in the pen. He'll be a spot starter. Alrighty, so Harrison on the hill. Johnson up to the plate now. Johnson is homered today. Put the Astros ahead 3-1. 1 for 3. And slap to third. Evans drills it to Lum for out number 1. Radar up there now. Radar hitless on the day, 0 for 3. And he's going to take Harrison deep, and the long ball going for the Astros in the late innings here. So I believe that was the 4th home run for the Astros. After Niekro had shut down the Astros after 5, the last 4 innings have been a different story. So 5-1 now, Houston. Metzger 1 for 3 up to the plate now. And that's going to be a base hit. So that'll bring up Richard again. Richard singled his last time up, 1 for 3 on the day. Braves playing back for 2. And it looks like he's going to sacrifice. And successfully, I'll get Metzger over in scoring position. Andrews 1 for 4 up to the plate. And it's swung on, hit the third, right at Evans, and stays with it to retire Andrews for the final out. But the Astros add 2 more, and it's 5-1 now as we head to the bottom of the ninth. So Richard looking for the complete game. Even though he's gone over his batter's face by 8, he is strong, so he'll stay in there and try to get the complete game. And Braves will pinch hit for Harrison. So let's see who the Braves will bring in for a pinch hitter. So this is where we will use the bench coach. See who is the most, has the best stats. So we're looking at the red and the green here. So we want to see that 688 number up top here under the out. We want to see how low we can go with that. So let's see what we can find here. So Cito Gaston. Oops. I don't know why that doesn't show up as anything. So let's see. Cito Gaston. 661. Gilbreth. 663. So Cito Gaston the best so far. May 614. Being a lefty. Johnny Oates. No. Pocoroba. No. And Robinson. 694. So the best one here, oops, was I think May. Yeah. So Derek May basically has the best chance of getting on base. So down by 4, we will go with him. So May is going to be our choice when we get out of this. Oops. So Dave May will come in and pinch hit for Harrison. So May hitting 200 on the season, 276 for the actual season. In 5 at-bats. So Richard looks in with a sign, trying to get the complete game here. May steps in the box. Here's the pitch, and fly ball to center. And it falls in front of Cedeno. He has a bad range there, 5, so that will fall in there. So leadoff runner is on for the Braves. Braves definitely need base runners. So Gar up there now. Gar 1 for 4 on the day. This May's being held on by Johnson. And that's going to be a base hit past Cedeno. It's going to go to the wall. And no. Definitely not. Not down by 4. I don't care what the percentage is there. So that'll be a double for Guard. So Braves down by 4, threatening. Second and third, nobody out. Let's see if they stick with Richard. Yeah, computer manager, okay. Just making sure that he's managed by the computer, and he is. You can see up top here by in the scoreboard. So Perez, well, he's hitting 275 hitter, so we'll leave him in. So Perez up there now. Perez 1 for 4 with a run scored. scored the only Braves run up to now. Let's see what he can do to help the cause. And that's going to be a base hit. So May will score. Oh, no, we can't try the extra base there. Can't. So I think that was going to be for May. Yeah, so Gar will hold at third. And that's going to be it for Richard. So Ken Forsch will come in there now. So Forsch has been very effective so far this year. 7 1/3 innings. He's not allowed an earned run. With a whip of 0.68. Opponents are only hitting 185 against him. Has not struck out or walked a batter, though. So still nobody out. The Braves down by 3 now. So Evans could tie this up with one swing of the bat. So if we get a 968 to 999, that could be that could tie the game up there. But one thing at a time, as we don't want to get ahead of ourselves. So runners up the corners, nobody out. Forsch on the hill. Looks in for the sign from May. Looks at the runners. Here's the delivery to Evans. And that's going to be a bounce to first. And Johnson will take it to the bag unassisted. Gar will hold at third, not wanting to risk it. Alright, so 1 down now with 2 runners in scoring position for Mike Lum. Lum, a .290 hitter on the season with a homer and 5 runs batted in. And hitting the ground to short. Esker gathers it over to Johnson for the out. Gar will come around to score, but his run is not meaningless, but 5-3 though now. So now tying run will come up in the name of Dusty Baker. Baker had 19 home runs in 1975, so definitely a possibility here. So 971 to 999, and we'll tie the game. We need at least a 707 to continue this game. So Perez gets his lead at third. Force looks in for the sign. Baker ready to grip and rip. Oh, it stopped there for a second. And fly ball to center, but not deep enough. Cedeno's there, and that will do it. So those 2 runs proved big in the top of the 9th as the Astros needed it, as the Braves will fall to the Houston Astros by a score of 5-3. So we will exit out and look at the box scores. So we had a pretty good pitching duel for at least the first 5 innings. But then the wheels fell off for Niekro as he allowed 3 home runs, all told. And Cliff Johnson, player of the game, 1 for 4 with a homer and 2 runs batted in. So 5-3 Houston. And see, J.R. Richard gets the win. Pitches well, although he's allowed 12 hits overall. 3 runs, all of them earned, 3 walks and 7 strikeouts. So early on, that first inning, I think, was the key where he got out of the bases-loaded jam. Because the Braves could have scored even 1 run, that could have made a difference there. But that could have been a big inning for the Braves, but he managed to get out of it. Did end up striking out 7. Ken Forsch comes in and gets the save. So he stops the bleeding there for the Astros. Phil Niekro, tough luck loser. Well, not really tough luck loser, but first 5 innings he was cruising until he hit that 6th inning. So 8 innings pitched, 7 hits allowed, 4 runs, all of them earned, 1 walk, 8 strikeouts, and allowed 3 home runs. Harrison came in, pitched an inning, allowing 2 hits and a run. on a home run. So the long ball definitely paid off for the Astros today. Here's your extended box score if you want to look at that. So we'll go through the lineup. We use just this. We'll go this extended. So for the Astros, Rob Andrews was 1 for 5. Ken Boswell did not get an at-bat. Came in to play second. Cruz 1 for 4 with a homer. Solo home run. Cedeno 0 for 3. Milt May 1 for 4 with a run scored. Bob Watson 1 for 4 with a run scored. Home run. Solo home run. Cliff Johnson with a 2-run homer, 1 for 4. Dave Radar was 1 for 4 with a run scored. Also had a solo home run. Metzger was 2 for 4, and J.R. Richard helped the zone cause with a single, 1 for 3. Well, didn't really score a run or anything, or not get a run, but still get a base hit. Ralph Garr for the Braves, 2 for 5 with a double and a run scored. Martin Perez, 2 for 5 with a run scored and an RBI. Darrell Evans, 1 for 3 with a pair of walks. Mike Lum, 1 for 5 with a double and a runs and an RBI. Dusty Baker was 1 for 5 with an RBI. Roland Office, 2 for 4. Vic Correll, 1 for 3. Blanks, 1 for 4. And Phil Niekro was 0 for 2. Dave May had a pinch hit single and scored a run. There you go. So we'll go to the scoring plays. Bottom of the 3rd, top of the 6th, top of the 7th, and then the top of the 9th, which sealed the deal for Houston. And the Braves tried to come back, but just didn't have quite enough. So there you go. So let's check out the standings now. So with the loss, the Braves fall to 2 and 6. Houston improves to 5 and 2. Houston's won 4 in a row now, and is a half game out of first. There you go. So big game coming up for the Giants. So if Caldwell can get and the Giants can get the win, they'll stay in first. If not, then it'll be a tie for first with the Astros. So that's it. So thank you for joining. It's been Eric from Higher Ground Gaming with another game from our 1975 Digital Diamond Baseball replay. So we will join you a little bit later on in the season, as we'll play a few days and do another game from the season. So take care and God bless. And happy Thanksgiving to y'all. Be safe and be thankful. God bless. Bye-bye.